TheircBully stood up against evil. He is free to come into this room, as we want to congratulate him. Excellent. Bravo, TheircBully. Bravo. Oh, hello, Mel. How are you? Mrs. Seeds will be here shortly. I think she was eating something bacony. There she is. Beautiful day. Last couple of days, sunshine, 23, 24 degrees. Beautiful. Perth and back today. I thought it was Thursday you went in. JP, hello? No problem. I've had bacon. I care less. Just kidding. I love bacon. No, notifications. I don't get hardly any notifications. Oh, Wednesday, then alternative Thursdays. No worries. No, it's been beautiful. We're spoilt, aren't we? I was telling a friend of mine overseas, Mel, how these last 2 to 3 weeks, end of July, and the first couple of weeks in August, are generally our coldest. And I've got to let him know it was 24 degrees. It was 24 yesterday and 23 today. Absolutely beautiful. Middle of winter. We're doing it tough. But I hear by all reports that the TheircBully, who was on suspension from this channel but is now no longer under suspension, stood up against evil today. So congratulations. Arrived so fast that my uncle entered my room. How are you, Ross? Yes, I'm out. No cooking videos from me for the next few days. I've got too many meals I've made up in the freezer. Hello, Coops. How are you, my son? In the beginning, the story began in an overcast, foggy morning in a graveside. And there he stood, the man of many graves, your host for this evening, Cooper's Chats. Just made that music up. Maybe you could use it for theme music, don't know. The waves of Boit, the ocean, has been rough. Years ago, many years ago, it was funny, in the same week in the early 80s, Cooper, a friend of mine did work in radio. Hello, hi. How you going, my mate? And he said to me, you've got to come down and we'll run a few tests. He said, you've got the perfect voice for advertising. He said even DJ and all that sort of nonsense. In the same week, I got offered another job at a funeral parlour. Now, the radio was not going to pay anywhere near what the funeral parlour was. But then when the boss I was working for at the time said, what are they offering you? I said, about 25 an hour. He said, all right, I'll give it to you. So, I stayed where I was. Yes, I have a face made for radio. Yeah, no, but there's been a few opportunities I could have. Look, I mean, I've got to tell you that the biggest money in acting, if you like, has got nothing to do with being in front of a screen. It's doing advertising. It is just unbelievable money. Voiceovers is what I'm saying. Unbelievable money. Money for jam.
Telling you that for years.
Yeah, I know. Maybe I should contemplate it. I've got a few voices I can use, but in advertising you've got to go with what they want, Might want you sell a certain accent on it when you sell some of that cornbread. And then you just got to tell the people, go down to Cooper's Cornbread Shop and buy a great bargain. And I can play the guitar, but no one's ever seen me do that on YouTube. You're not worthy.
Oh,
And I'm not that good.
no.
I'm okay.
You haven't got a guitar right now.
No, I haven't got a guitar right now. All the ones we've had, like I say, my grandchildren use for rocking horses. Cooper's cornbread. You got to try that. $3.99. Get while you can. And Cooper, I know, can sing into a box, and they'll pay him $10.
Now, Cooper can sing, yeah.
If there was an appropriate song, hello, Vinny. You're in bed beating. No, you're in bed, but hello. You don't want to do that to my voice, Vinny. We will cross paths. Hello, Pixie. But I love that song from A Man of a Constant Sorrow from the movie with George Clooney and a few other great actors actually in there as well. But yeah, you're talking about that would be an appropriate theme song for Boyd, let's be honest. In constant sorrow to this day, I am the man in a can of constant sorrow. Yes, very appropriate. Misery, loneliness, hatred, anger, violence. And that's usually on just a few channels. It's out with John Laws and in with Suze.
Oh, you did it high. That's good.
Valvoline. You must use Valvoline 2540 in your vehicle. John told me to tell you that. Remember those days? Sounds good. Roast turned out good. Leave out paprika, dusting. Yeah, smoky paprika's the go, mate. If you've got normal paprika, it's not as good, basically, is what I'm saying. I'll eat that cornbread. Yeah, the writers in the movie A Man of Constant Sorrow were very brilliant. I've no doubt the writers, most of them would have been comedians. There's too much talent in the delivery of their scripts for it not to be. Go to sleep, anyone. Hello there, VMAC. Sounds like a racing car. What did you get this year? Oh, I got a VMAC. What's under the hood? Oh, it's got plenty of bite. Oh, there is. Years ago. What's that?
You got a favourite movie?
Have I got a favourite movie?
Yeah.
Oh, probably one of the favourites would be,
Cooper was asking.
would definitely be A Man of a Constant Sorrow, because I love humour. But there are many movies I like. I like Titanic for its brilliant overview of the story. We never know the complete story. I also banned my Moan account. You got a Moan account? Oh, well, that's not much of a loss.
Yes, it is. Actually, I'll be your sister, Cooper.
What's that?
I ain't as old as Seeds. He can be your papa, but you're still in the will, so it's okay.
I reckon me and Coops will make a good Breaking Bad series. We get to kill everyone we want. Yeah. Actually, I've never seen a Breaking Bad show, to be honest. I've seen a few ads. Fried green tomatoes. Where we going today, Miss Daisy? Well, you just keep driving, don't you? No, I'm a white lady. You don't talk to me. Okay, Miss Daisy. I'll just keep driving. Yeah, one of my favourite actors, for sure. He always plays God now. There's a deep giveaway for a clue. Who is it? African-American actor, probably about 62, 63 years of age now, quite tall, curly grey hair. Always seems to play God in recent movies. My name is Morgan Freeman. I'm sick of these damn roles where they've got me pegged for God.
Yeah, but he does it so well.
Great actor. You lost the little nuances they missed the first time. Actually, most movies that you like, when you re-watch them, you see things you didn't see the first time round. which is the beauty. Not like a book. Let's be honest, we all used to read books avidly for many years. And a book gives you your own individual experience. Give the book to someone else and they go, yeah, I liked it, but that character I didn't like. And you think, oh, well, actually, one of my favourite characters. So a book is totally different. You are the director and producer when you read a book. When you watch a movie, well, you're just receiving the information. You're not making it up like you do when you read a book.
All right, VMAC, we won't.
Hmm?
VMAC said she's multitasking, so no mention of her typos, please.
Yeah, I've done the comparison, VMAC, and you'll read a book and you'll watch the movie and think, none of these make sense. It's not like it's cinematography. It's like, well, we've got to make the movie work. And
Yeah, I
the
do.
book's version doesn't seem to work on screen.
I do. I like to read the book.
Yes. Morgan Freeman. Morgan Freeman could sell anything. He does. We get a lot of Morgan Freeman ads on Australian television, actually.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, reading, I mean, my eyes aren't as good as they used to be. I used to read quite a lot.
Well, it's a bit hard. You were born in 18.
I was got the idea. Do it all at once. Bill Crosby. Well, you might remember this, Vinny. Might be a little bit before your time. But Bill Crosby, I remember, in the late 60s, early 70s on radio. And up to about the middle 70s. Things like, hey, 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 there's Fat Albert. But yeah, we all know what's happened since then. But if you can distinguish between the performance and the evil that some of these people have done over the years, you can still enjoy the movie. I mean, of course, the latest one, who's up there with them, and I think he's a great actor, Kevin Spacey, but he's obviously facing issues.
Oh,
Yeah, I like it. To
I
Kill a
like that.
Mockingbird. Who's the actor in that show you're talking about?
Hey,
Oh,
Winky.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
Winky's here.
I know, I just said hello to her.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Everybody, have you heard? Daddy's gonna buy her a mockingbird. And if that mockingbird don't sing, Daddy's gonna buy her a Moulin Rouge. Yeah, I like that. I like Moulin Rouge because for me it was like going to a cabaret and watching it on the screen. I did like Gregory Peck, of course. One of the great actors. Hello, Prentice. Every time I go to the toilet, is get him to drop off the kids. Oh, below. Morgan's about 6'2", I think. I know I was up close and personal with his wax rendition at Madame Tussauds not long ago, and I did tower over him, but I'm guessing he's about 6'2".
Mel said she had lunch with us the other day, and then BMAC saying, Mel, are you tall, as he appears to be on YouTube?
Me?
Yes, they're not talking about Morgan Freeman. Mel didn't
I
have
was
lunch.
wearing 6-inch platforms and standing on my toe.
And how tall am I, Mel?
Okay. I'm really fat, got really fat legs, and I'm about 6'1" tall. Not really tall. That was the story I told Mel to tell anyway.
He's 6'5". Yes, he was taller than you, Mel, wasn't he?
Oh, Mel's a good height. Tom Hardy, Daniel Day-Lewis, yes. John Candy, yes. In fact, some of John Candy's more serious works, Cooper, I thought he did remarkably well. Sadly, like The Man in the Van, got morbidly obese, and Pop went the Weasel.
Oh, he's little.
Well, I've seen Blinky, and even Blinky's reasonably tall. She's
Yes.
taller than my wife. Not quite as tall as me, but taller than my wife.
I like that song. Yeah, Only the Lonely.
Yeah, I stood next to Yes, only look, that's right. I stood next to the wax of Tom Cruise. I reckon Pixie's bigger than him.
Actually,
He's a tiny little bugger.
but he was even taller than me.
No, about the same height. He's about 5 foot tall. I can't see him
Really?
being more than 5 foot.
Well, do they make those things at people's actual height? They do it for real.
No, they do. Yeah, that's to do with Madame Tussauds. They must make it to the height.
Well, I'm 5'2", and he was slightly taller than me.
But he's a little squint. Even Arnold Schwarzenegger is smaller than me.
Yeah.
He's a little fella.
Yeah, I think there is quite a few people taller than me, Mel. That's true.
Oh dear. I can imagine what that rap song's going to sound like. Like a man like this, 10 minutes. Well, that's a good one. 10 minutes up the road. 10 minutes up the road? We're going to make our way to New Zealand sometime in the near future. If we want to go back, we love it. Beautiful country.
Oh, Vinny, you can do it. Just put your mind to it. You can write your own lyrics.
MB, you're not that smart.
Yeah, well, you're Seed's
You
little
know
pixie.
Cool. There's so much to work with. Rap. I don't like rap, but
There you go, Mel's going to help
here
you.
comes the pack. They're full of crap. One drives a van, the other's in the can. Whoa, yeah. Yeah. Vinny's on a spinny with all them ladies. All together, they're going fucking crazy. And I'm not even trying, Vinny.
There you go, Vinny. Oh, yeah, you're probably the same as me, mate, yeah? Vinny, it's recorded. Take it.
I will show you I can play the guitar in the future. And I'll make up a couple of songs about Boyd.
Yeah, that's true, Cooper.
Yeah, I think that's about it, Coop. Some of the highest paid singers in the world are actually raps. And they just, and I mean, I'll confess, in the prison late at night, you know, a few of the boys have fairly good stereos in their cell, and they'd start that shit. And I'm saying, you either stop playing it, or I turn off the wing, and I make my voice penetrate the whole wing so everyone knew. It'd be normally, get fucked. Okay. No power. And then the boys would be all yelling at the person that had the radio saying, you fucked that up. Then about 20 minutes later I'd turn it on and I'd say, try me again. Which I was entitled to do. It's called management. I think, like I say, when it comes to some of the music that I grew up with, I mean, I was born in the 50s, and I was listening to music from the middle of the 40s to the 50s, and then the 60s music came on. There's a lot of different genre of music that happened. But music sort of went true pop in the late 90s till probably the middle of the 10s, if you like. And now we've got some quite good singers. And like I say, I like all music. I just don't like rap. So that's a contradiction of terms. But for me, it's a case of expressionism. It's a bit like, how can I describe what I think rap entails? Protest, a bit like the 70s, if you like. I remember being in marches, wanting the war to cease, Vietnam War. And there was a lot of feeling like that, and a lot of songs came from that. I think a lot of the songs actually may have made the war end quicker. I'm talking from the Beatles and other groups. You know, all of them jumped in with the protest songs. I think rap is a protest about society. It's a reflection of society. That's just my view. I could be wrong, but
There's the odd rap song I do like. I do like, I think it's called Gangster's Paradise. I do like that one. Is that a rap song? I'm not even sure if that's rap, but I like that
I suppose
song.
the commercial version would be 8 Mile, you know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, you know, most of the ones I've been watching lately that come up are female singers with male African-American rappers, and they sort of combine them in songs, like, you know, they're part of the song and they do their bit, and it still doesn't work for me, I've got to be honest. I don't hate the people who sing rap, I just don't like it.
What was that band? I flew home on the plane once. And
Hi, Danny.
He wears that big clock round his neck.
Who?
That famous band.
Oh yeah, the wife flew over to Sydney once, and she didn't know, but she was sitting in amongst a group of a major band. And were they a rap group?
I'm not sure. The guy wears a big clock around his neck.
A big clock.
I don't know if anyone
I don't know.
knows what
She's
I'm
talking about. But the lead singer wore a big clock. Obviously, he didn't have much idea about time. But yeah, apparently, and they signed a few things. And when she got back, everyone wanted them. And I'm thinking, I don't even know them. See, I think if Vinny did a song, if he could mix in a bit of the old with the new, things like, oh my lovin', I'm gonna cut you up, I'm gonna cut you up, I will send to you. Oh my love, I'm gonna cut you up, I'm gonna cut you bad, I'm gonna boot you out.
Is that who?
You lost your wrench.
Is that 50 Cents? Is it? You're talking about what I was saying. You have to go back and read High Country's comment.
It wouldn't be 50 cents, he's been dead for years.
Oh. Shows you how
Unless
much I
they
know.
propped him up like Bernie and put him on a business class seat. Don't move, Bernie. I mean, 50.
Did you read High's comment?
I don't get to see
My
him.
name is High Country, who lives in a cottage on a hill with no one tree. I then moved to a new town, but found I had to deal with so many people all around at Seeds to Freedom.
Okay, sorry, I missed it. What?
Oh, that's it. Flavour. Yeah, that's it.
Flav? Is that the one?
Yes.
Yeah, apparently they're big, and she didn't know. She's sitting in amongst
I'm
them.
sitting next to
And
them
they're doing a few
around
little
them.
songs, and she's enjoying that bit. But she didn't know who they
And
were.
then they gave me all this music. I'm going, oh, gee, thanks. Signed it and everything.
Have you ever made Pozzoli? Going to give it a try. I think I know what you're talking about, Buttercup. Refresh me. Pozzoli sounds Italian to me.
Well, here comes the coppers.
Here
Got a
comes
high
the
seat.
fuzz. Here comes the fuzz. After the boy. Gonna smash their nuts.
This is, hello? Yeah, Roger? Yeah, we got that. Yeah, it's a van parked in a private parking lot, boys. That's right. Just call the boys from the towing company.
And
Get them to come with us.
don't forget you're a YouTube celebrity.
No, I'm not a fucking celebrity. I think they're going down to Mel's place. They're heading south.
Mel, I should have taken you over to the Oval because the boys are practicing footy in their footy shorts, Mel. Yeah, hide the stash, Mrs. Seeds. Yeah, what you gonna do, bad boy? That's the one, Danny.
Bad boy. What you gonna do? Donation stopped? Where have all the donations gone? Long time passing. Where have all the donations gone? Long time ago. My bland way of trying to rap. Okay, I missed it, but she did read it out to me.
Yeah, that's what I said. Should have gone back.
You know, I think most of you would certainly love to sit around a campfire, even if you don't drink, maybe have a coffee or an orange juice, have a laugh, you know, put something on the barbie. I think that's the kind of people that we get now around, which is good. Talk about war stories, talk about your life in general, what happened. That's what communication's all about. I mean, you don't have to give them your social security number and your address and all that nonsense, but just kicking around, having a laugh. There's enough people to get enough juice in them, they get real funny, let's be honest.
That's a helicopter now.
It's a helicopter? It's
Yeah.
definitely going to Mel's place.
They're chasing someone.
I like poetry, actually.
Yeah, I like poetry. This time next week, Mrs. Seeds, Michelle, and Son. Oh, cool.
Cool. It's getting very still, which is the phenomenon of winter in Perth and Mandurah. But, trust me, Mandurah and the whole west coast. It's basically 7 months of the year just blowing its arse off. Am I
I
buffering?
haven't even got that on.
Okay. Well, if you press the button.
I have now.
I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you.
I did. It's on now. It wasn't even on.
Okay, I just wondered if it's on.
Oh, are we back? Hello.
Radio testing 1, 2, 3. Hello? King Julian here. What's going on here? What's going on? Oh my goodness. I think that was Sacha Baron Cohen, wasn't it, who played King Julian in Madagascar?
I'm not
Did
sure.
your chicken mushroom die? Actually, most of the mushrooms are gone now. There's still quite a few big ones down the back. But no, I wasn't going to eat them because I don't know what's been in the soil.
Yeah, Clearwater Revival, Credence and Eagles. Oh yes, I like the Eagles, definitely. I like a lot of their songs.
CCCR.
ELO. Oh, I can picture him, but I can't remember his name.
Walking around the street late at night. Why am I treating me right? Oh, come back again. I'm just crazy about the baby. Have you seen The Proposition? That's the movie you're talking about, Blinky. Don't think I have, to be honest.
Phil Collins, I like.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
That's
Oh,
all right.
Lord.
Oh, Phil Collins.
Bum, 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 bum.
Where's the link to your yellow
You could
split
put two
peas?
artists together to sing. Who would you have? I probably would have Andre Bocelli, and unfortunately she left us, the one that drowned in the bathtub. You know? If I...
Whitney Houston.
Yeah. I think those two would make great music. Obviously it's not going to happen. Andre Bocelli is an opera singer by Maine, but he does sing contemporary. And I think Whitney Houston and his voice would have gone really well together.
Sids. Direct Sids to your yellow split pea, your ham hock thing. To,
Oh, Sid's here. Hello, Sids.
yeah, you missed
All you got to do, Sids, is type in pea and ham soup, followed by my channel name, Seeds to Freedom. It'll pop up. It says 200-year-old recipe.
See ya, back
And
up.
it is. All right, Buttercup, have a great day. Righto, give me an update on the Pelosi.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Do you know, if you take your first letters of each of your word, it spells sad.
What?
Sids. Sids, Angel, Debbie. S-A-D.
Oh, what? I did.
You can find yellow split peas on that video down in the comments. I did find in America where you could get them, and I'm pretty sure I put a link to where you could get them from. No, I just using the acronym, but no, you're definitely SIDS to me.
Oh, thank you, Danny.
Yeah, I think Canada's like Australia. We use a lot of lentils and split peas. Actually, you should do a little video of that section of the supermarket and show them all the
Of which section?
dried beans and peas.
Oh, yeah.
And it's quite a large section.
I'll have to do it undercover.
A vegetarian's paradise.
I have to do it undercover when I'm in there. Because you're not allowed to film.
Yes, they don't like you filming. What are you doing filming our food?
So I pretend I'm walking around talking to someone. Oh, we shouldn't be saying that on here. My cover's blown.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with green split pea soup, but I just find it a little bit bitter, Sids. That's why the yellow, they are sweeter, and if you talk to vegetarians, the yellow ones are used to add a little bit of sweetness in cooking vegetarian food as well, along with other lentils.
Yeah, yellow split peas is best to use.
What time does the forum close in Mandurah at Coles? I think they'd still be where they were. They just built around Coles, didn't they? Do they close at 10 p.m? Yeah, chickpeas you can do so much with. They're really versatile. I don't like them as hummus though. Oh no, me and you, Mel, I think we knock them on the head. Sometimes I get it about 85% off. That's what I'm looking for. Or some diced casserole steak that's actually Scotch fillet. That's a bargain. We still got, I've individually wrapped them and put them in the freezer. Oh, you don't have to go into town, okay.
Yeah, that's what you've got in your shopping centre, haven't you, Mel?
Yeah, near Falcon, yeah. Actually, what's the big one before Falcon? Oh, I can't remember.
Oh, that sounds interesting, Blinky.
You should see Aussie film Ghost of the Civil Dead as a retired prison guard. It's futuristic, truest and scary.
Ah,
Ghosts of the Civil Dead.
that sounds interesting.
All right, I will remember that. So that is available on YouTube or
Or Netflix, Blinky.
Netflix, maybe? We've got Netflix.
In Perth, no, the supermarkets aren't 24 hour.
Yeah,
Up north,
sometimes they are in different places, but generally 10
yeah.
p.m. is about the latest.
9.
9 or 10.
But in Sydney it is.
Cool. Yeah, I'll try and find it. You got the name in the text there, so we'll write that down a bit later. Ghosts of the Civil Dead.
Yeah, so what did you say, Blinky? Is it on YouTube, is it?
No, she didn't say it was on YouTube. She said if we couldn't
Oh.
find it, she'd mail us a copy.
Yeah, it's 9 o'clock for the supermarkets, but most other shops close at 5:30, 6 o'clock. Sydney have 24-hour supermarkets. For a while up north of this state they tried it, but I don't know if they still do it.
There's a little secret, and I know Mel knows this one. Wednesday, most of the supermarkets will cater for pensioners. And I'm nearly old enough, so I don't feel guilty. So if you go down Wednesday about 9:30 tops, they've already started marking down a lot of products. And then, of course, Thursday night, if you go down Thursday night, you'll find some bargains because they're prepping for the big shopping days of Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, Sydney, New South Wales is 24
See you, hi
hours.
mate, have a good one.
Say you hi. I think Melbourne is 24 hours.
Depends where you are, like in Richmond where we used to live in New South Wales, that was open till
Midnight.
midnight, yeah. Yes, I always used to go and make sure I spoke to the person, Mel. Like you get a butcher and you say, yeah, I mark down on, at 6:30 p.m. on Thursday night, so if you're coming about then, you just got to ask.
Oh, good.
My mum taught me if you don't ask, you don't know.
What are they, pigeon peas? Sid said she ordered some yellow split peas and she said, what are they?
No, they're a
Pigeon
normal,
peas.
they're a pea, and they're a variety of pea. There are so many varieties of peas, but they are, the only way I can tell you is that they're a sweeter pea compared to the green pea, which can, on occasions, be bitter. I used to even do one better, Mel. I used to have them say, look, if you could chuck, I'll buy all that steak at a good price if you can just put it under the counter. I'll come and see you before you knock off at 9 on Thursday. And they say, no worries. So I'd just go down the back, butcher would say, there you go.
We used
and,
to get the meat for Mum and Dad.
Yeah, the butcher in Richmond would just say, you come in about 10 p.m. He used to knock off at 10:30. And I'd pick up, seriously, $400 or $500 worth of meat, and I'd go and split it up amongst the family for next to nothing.
Is that what you call them?
What?
Sid said pigeon peas and yellow split peas. I thought you meant were they peas to feed pigeons.
Well, I suppose you get.
Oh my God, I think I have to go make a coffee.
The yellow split pea also says is brilliant when you're making up different types of soups. It's a thickener as well. It'll thicken your soup. It's got a real yum flavour.
Oh yeah, we got that ice cream. Yeah.
I picked up 2
But why did you only buy 2?
because I've had Hershey chocolate before.
Yeah, but
It's American chocolate.
I've got kids and grandkids.
So Yeah, I picked up 2, Mel. We're on the same
You
wavelength,
should have
Mel.
got more. How many did you get, Mel?
Most of the yellow split peas are literally split dry. You'll see them. Go back, Mr. Seeds. So I haven't even tasted it. We brought it home today. I bought 2 tubs.
Yeah, I know. You should have bought more. Yeah, see, she's right.
No, there'd been none left. It had that little sign on it, reduced. And I always put it down the bottom in Coles, you know what I mean? So if you're quick, you can pick up a big wad of them. But I've had Hershey chocolate before, and I'm not real keen on it. So I don't know what it's going to be like. Pigeon peas are split yellow peas. Okay.
I like my chocolate, and I do like certain ice creams, but and a cheesecake. But that's about all as far as the sweet side goes.
Yeah, you can buy Hershey chocolate here from the US, but it's very expensive. And hence this chocolate was very expensive. But no one would pay that price.
Yeah, I don't think they'll get
No
that
one would.
again.
I get, what's that big one with the M on, Mel, that you got to
Magnum.
pull, Magnum, you got to crack the top and all that. Man, there's so much damn chocolate in those things, but we're not paying $8. We wait till it goes down to 3 or 4. No, I think there was about half a dozen. I just grabbed 2 today. But we've got a lot of meals that we've got to eat out of the freezer over the next week, so not probably any cooking videos will be coming, which is okay. No, it is enough.
Yeah, I know, Mel. I know.
Like you, I imagine if you and I went shopping, it'd be like 2 eagles going up and down the aisles. Where you going, Seeds? Doesn't matter. Come back with a big trolley full. There you go. You can have half.
I don't know if it'd make it to the grandkids if I like it.
5.5, that's well done. 5.5 on my keto diet. There's so many varieties or variations
Wow,
of the
Steve.
keto diet. Really, there are. I mean, we've got prominent chefs in this country that promote it. There are different individuals, food bloggers. The only warning I always tell people, because I will never go on a diet, but is to be wary of achieving what you want to, and then going, all right, I can treat myself now. And then within a week or 2, the 20 pounds have revisited you.
No, that's just because
It's a change of your lifestyle, which is more important than the change of diet.
my husband thinks I'm
Yeah,
a feeder.
I'm a feeder. I'll own up to it. Well, I heard today, and I went back and watched a clip. The TheircBully told the fat man in the can that if he wanted to visit a convicted child sex offender, take my wrench. I thought that was pretty good. And disgusting that someone would want to go and meet up deliberately and promote and tell everyone publicly on their channel that they're going to do that. They do. All Asian countries we've been to, they eat 4, 5 or even 6 times a day. A little bowl of this, a little plate of that.
Yeah, you could start a feeding channel, Mel.
Yeah, you could.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
doing good, sis.
I just can't bring myself to use these other products. I like real butter. I like wholemeal flour. I like whole milk. I don't think any of those things. I think fat is not your enemy in foods. Our bodies are designed to process fats.
Okay, Danny, drive careful.
Have a good one, Danny. It's true. Our bodies have been designed over many millennium to literally consume fat easily. I love Lurpak butter. It's too bloody expensive though.
Yeah.
Yeah, my point is that if me and Sid's were caveman and woman, Sid's food.
What sort of question?
So we go out and I get something. We'll eat half a beast over an open fire
That didn't,
in one sitting.
that didn't sound good, Mel. Mel says, what's your favourite butts, Mr. Seeds? Then she wrote,
Tiny Tushy Association
Oh,
can
what's
answer that for you.
this?
But I truly believe that, you know, all this fat-free products, don't go near them. There's so much chemical and artificial sweeteners, and they put real sugar to replace. Because if you haven't got fat, you need something to make it taste good. And read the damn labels. No, we don't. I mean, today we have had a bacon roll, but earlier today, what did I make earlier today with William?
We had a
Our
homemade,
grandson was here, so we gave him a hot dog, and we had a hot dog.
but a homemade hot dog, like not
Yeah.
those red sausages. We got real sausages, and because we hadn't had them for so long, it was a day today that we just had a little bit. So
Yeah, we didn't eat much today.
it depends. Sometimes, depending on our mood, we've overeaten, haven't we? Depends what it is or what we're doing.
Yeah, I'm with you, Suits. I mean, I'm not keto, but stay away from fat-free. It's not good.
Ask the seeds. What am I asking? Technology has made us fat. Oh, maybe.
I think one of the biggest things that I hear that annoys me, I don't get angry, but it does annoy me, is when people say, I haven't got time. Yet, they're on the internet for 10 to 12 hours a day, but they haven't got time to do something outside or go down the beach or just for half an hour. I eat like I'm conserving for hibernation.
Yeah, it just depends.
Sounds good. Look, I mean, the best part of the pea and ham soup, after you've finished and it cools off and you put it in the fridge, it goes solid. So then you take it out the next day and you can put it into bags in the freezer. It really, you can put it over the top of your head, Suds, and it won't move. It's all the gelatin, the collagen that comes out of the ham hock.
Yeah, well, you are on the go all the time. That's right, Mel. And you walk the dogs.
Yeah, where Mel lives, a beautiful part of the state. Weather's pretty mild, and there's plenty of walking tracks. It's a well-designed city.
How's your weather, Brinky?
She'll mention you in 4 letters. Cold. We're being spoiled tonight. No wind, so it's not cold. Oh, that's no good. You're talking about Pedro, I guess.
Oh, that's not good, Brinky.
Yeah, it's always effing cold where Blinky is in winter. And the wind. The reason why there's a big chunk of land missing between you and Melbourne, Blinky's, because the wind blew it away years ago. I have a... What's a monster? Is that milk or what? I mean, if I was feeling peckish about now, I'd probably grab a bowl of cereal. Something real simple. But I'm not peckish now. Energy drink. Yeah. You can buy lots of frozen fruits. Buy frozen coconut, you name it, you get all the fruits you like. I don't mind making a smoothie with full cream milk, a little bit of, and I don't know if Americans would use this, but a bit of malt, which comes in a big tin. It's sort of yellowy powder. Chuck that in there, a little bit of ice cream, not much, and these frozen fruits. Makes a magnificent smoothie. And it's good for you. Yeah, they're all falling over, Bliggy. Yeah, Mrs. Seeds loves porridge. A protein drink in the morning. Well, that'd be part of your keto, I guess. But food is, it's got to have flavour for me. I have normal food in the morning. Mac wakes up hanging from a tree, upside down, and eats a bit of fruit. No, I've tried grits, don't like them, I'll be honest with you. It's a lot of work to get to the point that then you eat them and think, nah, it wasn't really worth it. I know people love them, not knocking anyone, but not my cup of tea. Well, basically it is oats, porridge. It would have been a staple meal for me as a kid. It's like you won't see. If I went to Mel's place, there's one thing I wouldn't get. She wouldn't give me grits. Well, there's two things. And I wouldn't get cornbread. It's not a staple Australian food. Yeah, we love prawns, or shrimps as you call them. A friend of mine showed me how to make biscuits and gravy. Seems like a lot of work. But we just live in different cultures. And when I made that video the other day, I was being truthful. The national dish of Australia is just meat pie. At any given day in Australia, and these are stats that I didn't make up, over 5 million pies get consumed. That's during the week. Now come the footy season, you can double that. Amongst all of us, what I'd like to do one day, when it suits the timing for both of us, otherwise not too early for me and not too late for you, is to get 2 or 3 of us with cameras on a hangout, that's if hangouts still exist, and cook 3 different types of meals at the same time, like we cut over to, say, Mel, and she's finishing off doing whatever she's doing, and we cut back to Sid's and we watch her do what she does, and explain what we're doing. Because I'm terrible at quantities. I just don't work with spoonful. You'll find me use the words pinch, handful, couple of dabs, about that much. I don't work with measurements. Yeah, 4 and 20, I've never liked them. I've had plenty of them. And they do try and sell them here, but no one buys them. We used to have a real big one years ago in my state. It used to be called Bakewells. And I think some other states stole the company. I make what I call a rock scone. You know how I made that damper, Sids? Well, a rock scone is basically just very simple. Flour, water, a little tiny little bit of oil in a rock scone, no yeast, and some raisins. And they just get daubed onto a sheet and put in the oven. And they're crunchy, soft inside. Dumplings, I don't know how many dumplings I had. My mum, I used to get home, it would be some sort of broth or stew, and you get your bowl and there'd be like 4 or 5 big dumplings. So you'd eat your way through the dumplings, and you're nearly full anyway, and then you have the broth. Yeah, Irish, Welsh make a Welsh tea.
Welsh cake.
Welsh cake, it's a bit like, a scone.
It's like a drop scone.
No, dumplings are flour, herbs if you like, bit of seasoning.
Well, my mum used to make bread dumplings.
Yeah, same, you can do them bread. My daughter-in-law, when I do a meal for my daughter-in-law, she comes around, there's gravy involved. She literally wants another cup of gravy, I mean a cupful, next to her plate, and she will just sip it like a drink. Doesn't she? She will just have gravy all over her plate,
the daughter-in-law.
but another cupful next to her. She can't get enough of it. I like gravy over me spuds.
Ooh. Blinky's going to make a big pot of lamb shank soup. You could put that on your channel, Blinky.
Oh yeah, no, that's good Aussie tradition there. Yeah, do one, Blinky. Just film the food. The end result with the mashed potato, then make the
have a
gravy up.
Good day, Danny.
See you, Danny.
Grits. It's like a biscuit, isn't it, Sid?
No, it's a staple food.
Well, because Mel's asking. No one's answered Mel what grits
Oh,
is.
Sids, can you explain what grits is to Mel? Yeah, the Scottish make good scones, that's for sure. Sid, you're going to have to explain what hominy is.
Is ground hominy. I'm learning.
It's not all ground though, is it? There's little bits in it floating around, Sids.
We're learning a lot here. Well, somebody has to do a thing on grits, and I nominate Sids and put it on your channel, then we all know Sids.
Yeah, it's just corn. It's a staple food that, look, it is mainly, and I've done a little bit of historical searching, it is mainly Southern America. It's not exclusive to Southern America. Like in big towns like Chicago, they have a lot of people that eat grits, as in New York, but they're individual groups of people. But it's a southern food, if you like.
The German don't call what you call grits, the ground whatever.
It's a long process cooking the bloody thing, though.
Yeah, but in German, grits is, this is going to sound horrible, but you know all the little bit of offcuts of a little bit of the fat of the skin of a bit of a kidney here and stuff like that, all fried together. That's what Mum used to do, and
Okay.
she called it grits.
Yeah, no, Suji just said she'll do the instant version.
Yeah.
The other version takes quite a long time, to be honest. I wouldn't have gravy with grits. Mind you?
Well, that's what they do, isn't it? See?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't. I mean, grits as it is you'd find it. I've tasted it, Mel, and it's like, I've given it a go,
I haven't.
type thing. But I probably wouldn't do it
I'll
again.
have to watch Sid when she does it.
Well, she's going to do the instant version, so it's hot water out of a kettle.
Okay, well, that's all right.
You can do a video of your porridge. Mel likes porridge.
Oh, I love porridge. So does VMAC. Oh, and I like it with cinnamon sugar on it. That's what I used to sit and eat with my mum when we went and look after her. Every morning we'd sit together. Mum liked cinnamon and sugar, but also a dab of butter in the middle.
Yeah. A bit of butter on hers, yeah. Well, we could do that. I don't know if either of you or any of you would be interested, but if we had like even just two of us doing a hangout where we show what we're doing.
Whoa.
Yeah,
That's deep, Sid.
it's called grits for a reason though, because sometimes it's gritty.
Wow.
Oh yeah, I used to work in a slaughterhouse print, so you know where I'm going with sweetbreads.
I see what really right.
And there you just put them in where your knives get sterilised. You used to chuck them in as you went along. Because when they take the guts out of a sheep, to give you an example, or a lamb, the sweetbreads are left behind. So you can take them out as they come along the conveyor belt.
Then he said grits is a kind of sand here.
Yeah, it is. And it's about the same. I've tried it. I've tried the grits, Vinny, and it's... you and I would probably push it aside and say, can we have bacon and eggs now? They're the only fat ones in the family. But I'll try anything. I mean, I know I won't try. If Vinny says, look, I've got a bowl full of anchovies. Do you want to try them?
God, no.
I was saying, no, mate. I tried them 35 years ago,
No.
and I ain't touching the bastards again. And I know people use them in cooking, and they say they dissolve, taste like salt. We'll just put bloody salt in there.
What's the other little salty little things? What's the other little green salty, really salty?
Oh, you're talking about pickled. I'll think
Do you
of it
know
in a
what I'm
second.
talking about? Little
Yeah, the little.
tiny
Yeah,
green.
Give me a moment. I'll think of it. But yeah, no, anchovies. Yeah, sandpaper and eggs. Yum. You always find little bits of black things floating around in grits, Vinny. but I don't like anchovies, I'm sorry. I don't mind fried, deep fried whitebait, which I had at an Italian restaurant years ago. They put a little bit of a vinaigrette through it, they're crunchy, they're yum, but not anchovies. See, I'm a great believer, fat has nothing to do with your weight, it's carbs. Let's break it down. It's carbs. You start eating carbs, our body has to go through a massive process to go through them. And we then store, the carbs turn into sugar, sugar turns into fat, whereas fat is already at its processed end. Do you know what I mean? So if you've got sugar, it's got to go through a process in the body and it's stored as fat. Whereas if you eat fat, the body is able to consume that and digest it easily, because our ancestors would just chew on the stuff. The Inuits can't wait to catch a narwhal or a small whale, and the only thing they prize more than anything else is the fat.
I just remembered capers. I didn't eat capers for years because I thought it was a type of anchovy, believe it or not, or I thought it was a type of tiny little fish.
Hello, Nicoleska. How are you?
Then someone explained to me
Buongiorno.
what capers was. But Vinny,
Well,
you can go away.
buonasera.
He adores anchovies, anchovies and sardine sandwich. Oh,
You're not sitting on my table, Vinny.
oh my God. Yes, hey sister. No mama here.
I know, like, my grandparents used to love tinned fish. You know, I mean, sardines. But I know my mum would always cook smoked cod. You know, that when it's been brined and it's yellow, you buy it in a yellow form. You still buy it today, actually. And she'd cook it in milk, I don't know, for about half an hour. And she loved that, but just the smell alone as a kid, I'm thinking, nah, I love fish.
Just ordered some coffee. I just made a coffee, Nicole. Do you want one? Sardines. Oh, yuck. My mum used to
There you
like
go,
all
not
that.
lips, all right.
So Vinny likes, what's the name, roll mops too, don't you, Vinny?
Yeah, your mum used to love them, didn't she?
My mum loved them with
I've
the
eaten
bread.
raw fish, don't get me wrong, but preference, I prefer it cooked.
So Nicole, do you like anchovies?
Hot lips in the room, tra-la-la-la-la. We got hot lips in the room. Join in, la-la-la-la-la. There you go, mate, all right. Oh, I like squid. Didn't like the flavour on that squid we had there, Mum, as I told you. I'm just a hopeless, honest person. When I love something, I'll say, I love it. When I don't like it, I don't like it. I think it was some seasoning or whatever it was in there.
So you like raw fish, so you like anchovies. I'm surprised there's a lot of fish you don't like, Mo.
I first met, I put my arm around her forehead and my knee in her throat and I spoon-fed every morsel in there. No, we had a big feed, it was good. Tripe, you mean tripe, yeah. I remember that, Blanky. And the words given to me by my grandmother, you'll love it.
Oh, poor Blinky.
I knew then, as a small child, my grandmother was out to kill me.
A live octopus, Nicole. What in the hell are you thinking? Nicole!
She knows the story about live octopus
Oh, what's
eating
that
in
alive?
Japan and Korea. People die, don't they, Nicoleska, because it actually constricts the throat when those little tentacles decide to stick in the esophagus and they can't breathe. Yeah,
I know.
it's like eating blowfish. Not a great thing to do. Hello, Jazz.
Okay, so you've been Mac. That was too
But
hard.
we're getting some fresh fish, Mel. Son-in-law came back from Darwin. He was up there fishing with his mates. We have coral trout, blue bone, and sweet lip snapper. So we'll be getting some of that fish tomorrow. Looking forward to it. And I will do
God.
a video of cooking fish. We
See
love
you,
fish.
Cooper.
See you, Coops. Yes, Coop's video was very good. Speaking the truth is always
Yes,
a good process.
I did. Yes, Cooper, your video was excellent, I have to say.
Too much mamby-pambying of certain people on YouTube has to come to an end, and Cooper's video was a very good start. You know, just because you like somebody doesn't mean you have to agree with their bad behaviour. And as such, if you've got a real friend, you tell them that you don't agree with their behaviour. That's how it works in life. You don't nod when they do something awful. You should speak up and say, I don't think you're doing the right thing.
I will, Nicole. Don't ever, ever eat a live octopus again, okay?
I'm sure it was an octopus tentacle that you were chomping on, Nicole. Nice coffee. See, I've got a new cup. I spared no expense. See that? It's got quite a thick lip and it's quite thick, and so it keeps my coffee nice and hot. And this came from a second-hand shop. $1.
Yes, Mel. So that's okay. We wanted to do it.
What's that?
Mel said, like when you went and paid the bill, Mr.
I don't even know what she's
Food.
talking about. There we go. I've got to refocus back on.
I just ordered some Lucifer's roast. Did I say that right, Nicole? Lucifer's?
Tell you what, Nicole, I like really hot food. I really do like hot food. And my mate bought some of these nuts that came from, I think it was Korea, actually. And they were roasted, they weren't peanuts.
Okay.
They were roasted like a walnut. So what's the American version of walnuts? You know what I'm talking about. The longer ones. And he said, give these a go. So I had a beer and I took 3 or 4 and it was like warming up. And then, my goodness. And it said on the front of the packet, in English, it said scorpion nuts. I presume that was from the scorpion chili. Very hot.
Pecan.
And like you, it gets to, yeah, pecan meal. And like you, it gets to the tongue on the top. Everywhere else is warm and your lips are hot, but your tongue takes the punishment. And ice is the only thing that helps. Drinking lots of liquid doesn't help.
Yeah, we love op shops too, don't we? We love going to second-hand shops.
Yep, I bought a pair of shoes the other day. That was $5.
Yes, Nicole.
And they're Nikes. Size 13.
Habanero barbecue almonds, Sid's likes. I've never heard of those.
Yeah, ice actually, all it does is the reactors on your tongue take a different message to the brain. So a scientist once told me, it actually doesn't cool your tongue at all. It just sends a different message to the brain. Because pain is only relative to what your brain feels.
But you got to give it credit, she did well. You were mad, Nicole, but you did well.
I don't know whether you use any chili oil when you cook, Nick. You were so trendy. I had a pair of shorts on, shoes,
It's the shorts, Mel.
and a
wasn't it?
t-shirt.
It was the shorts that did it, Mel.
Does she mean I got like a trendy butt? Is that what she's trying to say? No, no. Most of those clothes came from the 80s, I think. Chili oil is fantastic. It's like you can use it in so many different things. You make dips with it, you can cook with it, you can make a broth with it. Pho is sort of a common thing in China to use the chili oil, or chili oil in noodles, you know what I mean?
It's the shoes that got her.
My shoes. I got small feet, haven't I, Mel?
No, he's got friggin' huge feet. And it's true what they say, big feet, he's got big hands to match.
That's right.
You all thought I was going to say something else, didn't you?
Yeah, I lost my hand. I must have put it on Mel's knee and she kicked it to the floor. Because we walked outside and Mel said, where's your hat? I go, what?
Yeah, I don't really like shellfish either. As far as what you mean, oysters and things like that. Then
I do like a nice scallop cooked. I do like scallops. But people overcook them most of the time. Snorting chili, that's, yeah, probably not the best thing to do. Since that literally goes straight to the brain. Those ladies.
Socks, yeah, that's a good one.
Yep,
yeah.
I think they were trying to hook me up, Mel. I think I was going to be a child bride for some older.
I know, they were all around him, weren't they, Mel? They really, it made
Yeah,
him
yeah.
Buddha. 'Cause you reminded them of Buddha, maybe. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
Nah, see, crayfish in my state, Mel knows what I'm talking about. I come from Geraldton originally, lived there for 30 years. And I can just walk out anywhere in that old town and grab as many as I want. You call them lobsters, we call them crayfish. And I had them for years. And in the end, a mate of mine come from Perth and he bought a whole heap of prawns with him. And I said, I'll give you 6 crayfish for that bag of prawns. He thought he was getting a bargain. So I got these prawns, look brilliant. But if I never ate another crayfish or lobster again, I'd be okay. G'day, Hammers. How are you, my friend? Yeah, crayfish don't. Yeah. Just, I've had so many in my lifetime. Now, the good bush food, if you've taken some rolls and butter, some salt and pepper, go on the reef at night and grab a couple and boil them up. Bit of Thousand Island dressing, drop it in a roll, that's okay.
I saw that, Vinny. I haven't actually watched it yet. I've got it sitting up there ready to watch. A guy opened some cans from 60 years ago.
Well, when I was in high school and in cadets, they used to give us rations from the Second World War. And some were like 1939, 1941. But the best tin I ever opened was sponge pudding. And peaches, actually. And at that stage, they were like 35 years old tins of food. Still in excellent condition. However, the tins were very solid. So they were thicker than the ones that you get today. They were always gold. There was a gold tin of this and a gold tin of that. The mystery, sometimes you get a gold tin with no wrapper on it.
All I can remember opening it.
Mrs. Seeds, my wife and I dry reached. What's that over?
I was watching those tins.
Yeah, I like duck. I like duck. I really do.
All I can think is when people open tins that are 100 years or 60 years old is from the movie Ghost Ship, which I loved that movie. Remember they open a can, baked beans, then they go.
You ever seen that movie, guys? It's called Ghost Ship. That's all it's called.
Brilliant movie.
Starts off with musicians playing on the front deck, and then you see this big wire cable going all around. But I'm not going to spoil it for you.
No, don't
It's
say
called
anymore.
Ghost Ship. It's about 1990, something like that.
No, we don't have Amazon. We can order
No,
some
you can get
things.
through Amazon in Australia now.
Yeah, some things. Yeah, but they opened old tins on that ship and it was disgusting, full of worms.
But if I'm hungry, I'll eat anything. Trust me, I would. If I was hungry, we're built very well designed human beings. We're omnivores. We can eat everything. Yeah, I like duck. I like to sear my duck on the skin side first, seasoned it, of course, and finish it off in the oven. I like crispy duck. And you want to get fancy, make some l'orange sauce, if you want to, and feather across little chiffonade pieces of chili with a side of something.
Bully beef.
I've got no seeds at the moment, Blinky. You need to write a list of foods you like to eat, and then I can suggest seeds that you can get. I won't have any seeds for another 6 months minimum.
Peking duck. Always cracks me up, that name.
I like the duck when it's cooked in the big urn, you know, the charcoal urn, and they hang them down. Cooked properly, duck is not gamey. It's quite nice. A little bit of red wine doesn't hurt it. And butter to finish.
Wow, that's going down fast and low.
I think that's Vinny's drone.
Oh, Vinny, got your drone here. We see it. Hi, Vinny.
Sounds like a drone. Hey, Vinny, there you go, mate. All right? It's a bloody big boat. Tusk.
A horror movie. If it's horror, I won't watch it.
I laugh at horror movies, actually.
My God, I'm still scarred from watching Psycho.
Yeah, it's only a little plane, isn't it?
Yeah, it's gone now.
Well, it's like kangaroo. Some people find it gamey, but if you introduce people to kangaroo, the best way to do it is get a nice steak of kangaroo, cut it up into little cubes, put it on a skewer, but before you've done that, you marinate it in like curry powder, a bit of paprika, maybe a bit of cayenne. Then you put it on the barbie, and people think, oh, that's magnificent beef. Yeah, so you introduce them that way.
I ain't watching. Look, I'll be sitting there watching a horror movie with my eyes covered, asking, "What's happening?"
Yeah, Roo's good. The best part of a Roo is its tail, though, by the way. It's fatty, but great flavour.
So it was a full-on horror movie. Well, I'm not watching it then, Vinny.
I'll cook you some one day, Mel. I'll do it on skewers, and I'll marinate it in a curry juice, and you'll love it. But you will think it's beef. Yeah, I like a good horror movie. Suspense movie.
Yeah, suspense. Yeah, it's amazing. I don't know, what do people class as horror? Some people call that ghost ship horror, but it's not. And I enjoyed
it's
that.
well edited. That ghost ship movie makes you jump every now and then because it's edited well.
Use your imagination, but I enjoyed that movie.
And it alludes to things that aren't there, but you think
Yeah.
they're there.
True crime, love it, Mel. True crime, yep.
Overdate with a local 5-star chef. Oh, you better marry him, Blanky.
Oh,
And all you got to do is the
Blanky.
dishes. I've got a kilo of prawns in the freezer, which I'm going to make honey sesame prawns out of it. And when the kids come around, if I'm quick, I'll get some.
Okay, I've never had beaver hammered.
It sounds like a lot of animals, hammers, that the tail has the flavour. A lot of animals is very similar.
So what does it taste like, hammered? Please don't say chicken.
No,
What's it taste like?
be fishy, like a croc, I imagine. I know people eat muskrats up there. Oh, I love oxtail. Thrown in with some beef cubes for a stew. Even if you only got a couple of oxtails and throw them in, you can take them out, Mel. It just adds that gelatin, flavour, richness. You can actually still buy, I think, oxtail cubes as a stock. I think they still make them. So Blinky's line will be, after the fantastic meal, will be, you want to come back to my place for dessert? Want to have a look at me pavlovas? Or do you want a vanilla slice? Have you eaten goat, Mel? Goat. Yeah, I wouldn't eat just oxtail in a meal, but adding flavour. Thank you very much, MB. I just spoke what was in my mind. What if you're going to own one, you're not going to ever serve goat again, are you? That kills that. I'm glad you don't get any chickens. You wouldn't get any chicken. If you had a small cow, you'd end up being a vegetarian. I'm retired. I'll enjoy your evening out. Sounds like a good fun coming up.
Goat is very strong, mate.
No, not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
We used to take a hunting boat when we go fishing up near Shark Bay. There's wild goats everywhere, but you only have to one that's only about 12 months old. And we butcher it, hang it for about 4 or 5 hours, come back, cut it up. We had a massive cooking urn. In with the onions, in with the garlic, in with the spuds, the carrots, you name it. And then in with the goat. And leave it for about 8 hours.
I see you,
Best
MB.
stew I've ever had.
Have a safe trip, MB.
Goodbye, Pixie.
I know, Mel. It's very sad. She had
What?
a Dora. Mel's Dora passed away 2 days ago. She's just left with Betty. Her chicken.
Oh, okay.
I just have to get Betty another friend, Mel. Blinky said with my gay chef mate. Question mark.
You might be able to turn him, Blinky. Don't knock it. video I did though about gender, I truly don't see gender as an issue at all. I base my relationships with people on their behaviour and my perspective, because that's the only true source. Rose hips, very good for you.
I've had.
Vitamin C and other vitamins in there.
We've had what rosehip juice is it? We've bought.
The what? Rosehip. It's a very common
Yeah, we've
fix
had
for many
juice.
things. When I was a kid, you'd have a syrup made up, and people would make it up. You wouldn't buy it. You'd make it. They'd make it up, and you'd have rosehip syrup, usually heated up in like a cup of tea type thing. And you'd sip on it.
It's lucky I ain't coming with you, Mel. I'd like to come chicken shopping with you, but I'd probably come home with 10 of the damn things.
Yeah, I mean, I used to raise chickens, slaughter them, eat them.
No, well, I wouldn't. They'd be.
So if we get chickens, they're pets.
Yes. I would like some brown ones.
But with all the birds we got around, they could even be dinner with the chicken hawks and the Maggies having a crack at them.
No, I'll save them. I'll keep them safe.
Yep, that's the favourite way I do eggs, poach them.
All right, Nicole and Seed, stop it, used to. For Mel and I, they would
Everything's
be our
food.
pets.
Everything is food. We are omnivores. We will eat anything. Why don't folk believe I quit sex? I didn't know that you had. This is breaking news. Blinky no longer has sex. Okay? Long, long time ago. La da 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 da. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Blinky used to bonk a lot, but now she doesn't do it anymore. La da da.
No, we love you,
da, da,
Blinky. Well, I do.
La da da da.
Seed will say
I
like.
like Blinky.
I like you. I say I love you.
If I used the other word with Blinky, her ears would be flapping. Singing bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Throw your cherry to the levee and let it fry.
Did you say cherry or
Yeah, I'm making up
cherry?
words as I'm going along. I quit it until I have it again.
Okay, I'll slap him.
Life is more than just sex. Look, if God came down now, I'm going to use my voice. Ladies and gentlemen, today I give you a choice. You can choose between one of the two following. You can't choose both. From this day forth, you can have sex or bacon. You have 5 seconds to answer.
Bacon.
Bacon.
See what Blinky wrote?
No.
She said, you two were great to meet and the sex wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Shush, Blinky.
We're making bacon. And the winner is bacon. I could hear you from my room.
We'll meet again, Blinky.
We'll
I'd like
meet
to try
again.
and work it that we
Don't
meet.
know where,
That we meet Stella.
I don't know when, but some sunny day. Far, far. You're listening to the BBC. I used to listen to that stuff when I was a kid driving in the old Wolseley in the back seat. Yeah, all the old war songs and Vera Lynn and fuck, I'm old.
Yeah, you are. Because I don't even know them. That's why I ain't no one's mama. You could be their papa, but I'll
There'll
be
be
their sister.
bluebirds over the white cliffs of Dover. Actually, of all the cities, Manchester did get bombed, by the way, but Manchester got a bit lucky compared to other cities in the UK.
What's cloud bread, Sids?
Cloud bread, that's where you store it on iCloud.
Yeah, we will, Blinky.
We'll meet again. the forces of the universe are working.
And we're going to try and do it that it's not friggin' miserable weather, hey Blinky?
What, in Victoria? Pick a month. Can be stinking hot and cold in the same day. Oh yes, I like Marlena Dietrich.
Yeah, I know her because of that was one of my mum's favourite.
Have you got one of Zaza Gabor? They're from the same era. Hello, darling. Are you my husband number 15? Of course I love you. Where's your bank account?
Marlena Dietrich. That's how you say it. Dietrich. Oh, that's
My daughter's got heaps
favourite.
of Munro big pictures around.
Everywhere she's got Munro.
A kiss on the ass may be quite continental, but you're warm as my best friend. Sorry, that was the Boyd version. Yeah. I mean, it's 24 degrees here today. Blue sky, Blinky. No breeze. Middle of winter.
But you keep them warm, aren't you, Blinky?
Remember that show, Blinky, the comedy? And she would say, "You're a very unattractive man." What comedy show was that? Do you remember that?
Oh, I do remember that.
You're a very unattractive man.
Yes, that, I can't think of that. I'll probably think of it at 2 o'clock in the morning and I'll wake you up and tell you.
It's been described by many women, actually. You need to accept an invite in hangar. What the fuck is a hangar? That's where you put airplanes in it.
Hangar.
But it's been suggested by people like Cher, Ellen DeGeneres, and others that the most explanation that they could say about Marilyn is that she's a woman's woman. You know, when guys say a man's man, they say Marilyn Monroe was definitely a woman's woman. I deciphered your language. It's either a very old British bomber plane you're talking about or an aircraft hangar. I'm unsure. It does not compute. Dave, open the pod bay doors. I can't do that, Mel. Well, I think a lot of things killed Marilyn Monroe. Just the pure pressure alone. Bonking the President of the United States wouldn't have helped. She had a lot of people who didn't like her for various reasons. Mind you, association with John F. Kennedy probably wasn't the best idea, if you know what I mean. I like JFK. He was America's best president. And I'm an Australian.
Yes, it's pretty obvious how they've done away with some people over history.
I should have to go and get you some tobacco. Don't tell anyone. All right.
What'd you say? That you love everyone? Is that what you said? Is it because Nicole's in the room?
Like you tender,
Well, she calls you Papa.
like you true, never let you go. Oh, my darling, I like you, and I always will. Like me tender,
Love me.
like me true, all my dreams fulfill. Oh, my darling, I like you, and I always will.
Hillary.
I've always found probably some of the best politicians in the late 90s through to the early 10s of this century, my favourite of all was Ron Paul. Now, there are reasons for that. If you understand what Ron Paul was all about, you may agree with me. But he was never going to be president. He was never allowed to get that far at all. And on the other side, I think a reasonable politician, and some of you will definitely disagree, is Dennis Kucinich. But it's not the politics that I'm saying these words, it's the man, the men in this case. I liked Rand Paul. I'm talking about Ron Paul, his father.
Get my charger. Go on, go.
Well, yeah, he started talking about putting the dollar back on the gold standard, abolishing the Federal Reserve. He's not making friends already, just with those two statements, do you know what I mean? People that own this planet don't like that idea. The petrodollar only exists because of the people that run the planet. They don't give a damn about the United States. They never have. They are a convenient truth at the moment. They decide to change the petrodollar into the petro yuan or Chinese currency, they will. No matter how much bleating American politicians will do, they don't run the planet. But then again, I don't know what Caesar's fucking talking about. Okay, I'll stop that line of questioning. Well, Soros is not the only one, Nicole. You only have to go to Davros each year to see the people that run the planet. And I know Nicole knows what I'm talking about. Once a year they gather. That's an official meeting. You can be assured that they have official meetings, unofficial meetings all the time. What do you think we should do this week? Big men in cigars in their mouth, feet up on a big 40-foot oak table saying, what do you reckon, we should start the Korean War again? How much money will they make out of it? Oh, shitloads. Let's do it. Countries don't dictate where the wars will occur. It's the people that own the planet. And that serious line of questioning has now come to an end. You can only control, to the best of your ability, your own life. Some of us will use the words, one drop in the ocean makes a difference. And it probably does. But try and make your life happy. Yeah, well, I think the ants got to it in the end, to be honest, Mel. We had about 40 of them. Like I say, I love mushrooms, but because I don't know what's been in the soil here, I won't eat them. I love mushrooms. I love them. I can have a mushroom burger instead of a steak burger. Not sure if the missus is on the dunny or she's making another coffee run. I think it could be another coffee. Let's have a sneaky look. Oh, she could be doing the dishes. Yeah, I love a mushroom burger. Actually, I like grilled mushrooms. Here we go. There she is. Looks like a scene out of Titanic without the sexy bit. Yeah, I'll sort of stuff the mushroom a little bit. I like a little bit of pork mince, cheese, garlic, capsicum cut finely, whatever, smeared in on top, under the grill, probably about 15 minutes, so she's just starting to get a bit floppy down the bottom, but she's still crispy on top. Fresh wholemeal bun, lettuce, tomato, a little bit of mayo, a bit of my chili sauce, mushroom, put the top on, Bob's your uncle. So I don't know what's happening to Hangouts. I'm sure other people here know more than I do. I don't think Hangouts are changing. I think your Studio Classic is being removed. I think that's how I understand it. I could be wrong. But I do know in the wind that there will be an increase in requirements to be monetised. That's a definite. They've already indicated it by little blurbs they do. Google I'm talking about. And it's probably a good thing. They put it up to say 50,000 subscribers. I won't be monetised anymore, but that's okay. I'll still do stupid videos because I want to. But a lot of other people get a bit angry. They get no money out of YouTube until they get to that 50,000. But it means advertising dollars are spent a bit better instead of on little channels like mine. Apparently it only disappears for live streams. What does? Oh, you mean the Hangouts?
Doors are getting low.
I don't know what it will be. I'm sure we'll find out when it happens. It's supposed to happen tomorrow, I think. First of all.
It's like everybody's panicking, and it's almost like, remember when it was turning to the year 2000, how everybody...
Oh, I don't think it's that big. There's some crazy shit going on there.
I know that sounds exaggerated, but it's just like everybody's like... Hi. I love you.
Put up at about a tilt because your
Have
head's
you
missing.
zoomed in?
No?
Well, you've got me. Alright, that's enough. They want looking at your cock.
Okay. We mean that in the clay formation, of course, not in the sexual reference. So there should be some action happening here in a couple of weeks, Mel. A bit of digging, a bit of concrete laying and bricking. Hopefully all goes well. In Gamelling, I went there many times. Yeah, it's a nice little old country town, Gamelling. Not too far away from Wild Catcham. If you can spell that, you win a prize. We've got some funny names in this state. Everything down south is called something up, like Nan up, Karen up. Everything's up.
Deli
And then
up.
when you go up north, everything's called Downs, something Downs,
Yeah,
Daisy
that's true.
Downs.
And then in New South Wales, everything's double. Wagga Wagga.
But we've got a big country. If you wanted to look at Australia, you've got to give yourself at least 6 months and you'll see a bit of it. What means water? Wagga Wagga. Up. Okay. Karen up. Peringa up. We've got so many ups down there. It's funny.
Manjum up.
Yep. Mandurah up.
That's Mandurah. What do the New South Wales people say Mandurah for Mandra, Mel? Mind you, there's some funny ways seeds are pronounced as New South Wales sounds, because I was...
Well, they got like Coogee.
Because I was born and
And
bred...
we call it Coogee.
Yeah, it's Coogee. I was born and bred in New South Wales, so when seeds started saying the names, it was so funny. I don't know how you used to say Landilo. You never said Landilo. You pronounced...
It's a Welsh nightmare. Lilando,
That's it. That's how you pronounced it.
but it's Landilo. Mind you, if you've been to Wales, they have some funny names, trust me. But most of us in Australia live on the coast. 90% of us. Still a lot in the bush, but mainly on the coast. But we've got a lot of coast. It's all coast. So we'll do maybe one cooking video this week. It'll be with the fish.
That's if you get any.
Oh, well, we were told we're getting some.
No, you asked for some. We weren't actually told because he had another guy with him and they've only bought so much and they're sharing it. So,
Fine, I'll go and catch me bloody own then.
yeah, so
All right, Mel, we'll
Okay,
catch up.
see you, Mel.
Hopefully we'll catch up with you soon.
don't work too hard, Mel.
And now that she's gone, I can tell you she's a pretty damn fine looking Sheila too.
Yep.
But she's not here, so that's all right. No wind, isn't it beautiful?
Yes, but it's going to be cold again tonight.
Oh, it's not too bad now.
Maybe Nicole will open the room later.
Yeah, you could do that. We could finish now. Nicole, if you want to open a room,
She'll probably,
we'll come and say good day.
probably say she's too busy.
She might be sucking on a tentacle at the moment. She might be busy.
Oh.
No, but if you get a chance to, I don't know what a Twitter account is, but Mel does some fantastic meals. And she takes good photos of them and presents them well. And she does recipes on them too, doesn't she?
I usually just pictures of meals.
Oh, okay. But she can cook. So what are you guys having for breakfast? Or is it past that stage now? I know VMAC will be having porridge or fruit.
Oh, she's gone to work, mate.
Yeah, I know, but that's what you were having.
Porridge, she's into.
Yeah. Oh, it's free though, Nicole. It's free. Might have to wait a while though. We're blessed here. We don't have to wait very long.
You've got some tests or something results coming or having done, haven't you, Nicole?
Even people wanting like cosmetic surgery may have to wait 3 to 6 months, but it's free.
Depends what you're having done. It's
Oh,
not
yeah.
all free.
Yeah, they do quite a lot of plastic surgery.
Yeah, but it's not free, plastic surgery.
No, it
unless
is.
it's a medical,
Yep,
emotional.
I'll tell you where it's free.
mental.
It's like when someone's had, say, a mastectomy, breast removed, they can have free augmentation.
Ah,
I want you
Yeah, I
to breathe in deeply and understand the universe does listen.
yeah, I can't blame you though, Nicole. It used to be a pain when they mucked mum's stuff around. Yeah, health issue, that's the word I was trying
Isn't
to
it funny
look for.
though, Nicole? You'll get really angry and furious over this, but if it was you, you'd say, oh, the bastards, and you'd move on. But because it's your mum, you're furious. Is that a steroid, Sids? Yeah, it's like cortisone. You can only have so much of it though.
3 here, 3 doses here. That's
Well, it just doesn't work after that. Most cortisones or steroids in each person have a lifetime use. In other words, you can't keep using them because they become ineffectual. 5 days. Yeah. I mean, my shoulders aren't bad now, but a couple of years ago I was getting really severe pain in the
You
rotacuffs.
do have trouble with one. You can only
Yeah, but still
go
not as
so
bad as it
far.
was. Yeah, and it hangs around in your body.
Yeah, that's
Your body eventually gets rid of it because it don't want it.
once every 2 years or something here to have steroid injections.
But we don't know how long we get to live. It's just one of those things. But while you are living, if you can get somebody that helps you, I have no argument with that. But I tend not to take medications unless I have to. Is Nicole here still? Just ask her if she's going to have a
I'm
hang
not
out.
sure. Are you at home, Nicole, or are you sitting at the doctor's with your mum talking to us? Because I don't think she's doing a hangout if she's at the doctor's, because then she could cause trouble.
Yeah. No, I know what you're saying. So it's because things like painkillers rapidly fail on joint pain. They don't help much at all. Things like we have, I don't know if you get it there, but we have Voltaren,
Even that,
which is a liquid.
you've got to use sparingly.
Ah, yeah. Actually, well, I can call right now if I wanted to and have a doctor come to my house,
Oh, home visit. Okay.
and it wouldn't cost me anything, Nicole.
It doesn't, and they're pretty.
And they're
quick.
here within an hour. So we can have a doctor come to your home in Australia. No problem at all.
It's
Yeah, I
strange
understand.
that they're
Your
mucking
loved
her
one-
around.
Your loved ones, you don't want to see in pain. You can take a bit of pain, and you don't think much of it, but when it's your loved ones, you tend to get a little bit angry when nothing's happening.
You can do healing on it, Nicole. Everybody's got their ability. Put your hands on her where it hurts, and I'll think of your mum.
Well, what I saw of the UK while I was there, the people have changed. And I don't mean that in any form of racism at all. But there's not much England left in England, if you know what I mean.
There's our pet cricket.
Now, I can call any time of the day after 6 p.m. in Australia, and I
Yeah.
can have a doctor, and with that doctor there will be a nurse. So a doctor and nurse will come to your home anytime. It normally takes about an hour by the time you call till they get here, because they're on call. And I've spoken to a couple of them, and they do about 10 to 12 visits between 6 and midnight.
I don't know how to say the word. Prioritise. How do you say it?
Yeah, prioritise certain
Like elderly,
patients. Like if someone's got
children.
a heart condition, well,
Yeah.
they're going to go there first.
Yeah, and children.
But I think our daughter's called a couple of times in the last few months, and they've come to her house, haven't they?
Yep, elderly.
No charge. So we have what we call a Medicare card. Doesn't matter what you earn. 2% of your wage each year gets paid to the government, and it comes out of your tax, if you know what I mean. So if you're on 100,000 a year, it costs you $2,000. If you're on 50 grand a year, it costs you $1. And if you're on next to nothing, it's free. But everyone gets a Medicare card, and you call a doctor to come to your home. Sometimes it's quicker because if you take your child, say, to a hospital,
To emergency.
it depends if they're busy. Do you know what I mean? You normally get in within about half an hour to an hour, but it can be longer.
But they will, depending what the problem is, children will be first, and a doctor in a hospital will come quicker to
Yep.
your home, or
Yep.
the elderly.
Yep, they do that. But like I say, we have good medical here. I could go to a doctor tomorrow and it won't cost me anything. Nothing. And I know in the UK they've what they call short and long visits, so it's the same there. But they just charge the government through the Medicare system for the visit. American health system is disaster. There's one thing that I agree with our country, Canada, the UK, no matter how good or bad the medical service is that it is free. You pay for it through your tax in one form or another, but nowhere near what Americans pay. If you can't keep your people healthy, they can't work.
Well, here you've got to say if it's a longer appointment. If you think you're going to be longer than 10 minutes, you just tell them and you can have it.
I've got friends that were in Maryland and they've moved now to Pennsylvania, but they, under Obama, went from something like $6,000 a year. He's got a wife and four kids.
Yeah.
It was 6,000. Under Obama, it was going to be 17,000. Now they only earned 33,000 a year. That doesn't make any sense to me at all. So they moved states because in different states of America, medical is different. So obviously Pennsylvania is more attractive. 1,000 a month. Can you imagine that, Nicole? 1,000 a month in insurance.
I I'll just go and answer the phone. Maybe, hopefully, it's your doctor.
Yeah, and I don't understand the American thought process for its people. Like I say, if you have a nation who can get free medical, they pay for it through either a direct tax or indirect tax through goods, whatever, however it's paid. Most people would be able to work. When you reach 65, we'll get Medicare. Yeah, but it's like by then, if you've not had good health care till 65, Sids, you could be dead before you get to 65. Or is that what they want all along? I'll let you do the Googling, but look at the age of death in the US, man and woman, and then look at the age of death of man and woman in Australia. And then tell me that having healthcare that's affordable for everyone is bad, because it's good. We live longer than Americans. And I'm not boasting, I'm just saying an actual fact. So if you have been put through the grind for 20 to 30 years till you get to 65 in the US, and then you can get Medicare, it might be too late. You may have had these problems that you can't afford to go to the doctor while you're younger, but you may not even make the age of 65 in the US. I think, off memory, I think the death rate for men in Australia is 87. I think it's 89 for women. $1,000 a month is ridiculous. You know what the irony is, Sids?
That's people's house
If I
payments.
come to the US, just me, and I live with you guys, I can get travel insurance for as long as I like for $6 a day. And I can get the best healthcare in America because of that. So that's $180 a month. Hello, Irene. So what you need to do is forget about your healthcare system there and just get travel insurance.
Travel insurance.
Have a look, check it out, Sids. It might actually work.
Travel insurance within your own country.
So I could land in the US, have a heart attack, get taken to the best hospital in America, get the best medical treatment, and it cost me nothing. $6 a day travel insurance. I'm not kidding. So for $180 a month, I get the best medical service in America. You pay $1,000 a month, and it sounds like you still pay on top of that. I mean, scripts here, if you're unemployed or below a certain limit, I think scripts are capped at about $4 for whatever it is. If it's a $1,000 medication, you get it for $4. Pensioners get the same thing.
Oh, that's nice, Irene. Do a bit of pampering on yourself.
Is she having a pampering session?
Nails. She's having her nails
Oh.
done.
I don't understand why a nation doesn't look after its health of its people. Because if they're healthy, like I say, most of them will live longer, pay more tax, and have the ability to work. If you're sick and can't afford health care, you'll just stay sick. I had my nails done, never.
No, you pick yours.
Yeah,
2
we got-
hours ago, I
yeah.
swept there.
We've got ants on the move, we've got rain coming, for sure. Yeah, and I know me bleating about your health system will do nothing for your health system, but I don't understand why politicians in America don't stand up and say, let's have universal health care. Let's pay for it through all different forms of micro taxes, on your income tax, on goods you buy, whatever. But to not have the ability to stay at home with a sick child, for example, in America, and say I can't take that child to the doctor because I can't afford the $200. And then the medication on top. That's wrong. It's just plain wrong.
Or sparkles. My daughter gets her nails done once a month. Once a month, them
She
days?
gets-
No, every 6 weeks.
She gets things painted on them sometimes too, doesn't she?
Shellac. I don't know what that is because I don't have mine done.
It's a lacquer of some sort, I guess.
It's called shellac.
Well, that's like getting a beating, a good shellacking. See, that's just wrong, Sids. He contributes to the wealth of the nation simply by working, and yet he can't afford the health care of that nation. that's wrong.
Or he can't take the time off work because there's no commercial construction workers. They don't get sick pay, she's saying.
We do here. If I was in construction here and I had to take 3 or 4 days off, my company still pays me. I go to get the health facility I need. I don't have to pay for it.
Well, no, if you're a contractor, it's in your pay anyway because you get paid that extra to compensate.
Even a contractor here gets that covered. Every employer has to pay extra in regards to healthcare. We don't have, the one thing we don't have is dental with work. Though again, if you earn under a certain amount of money, you get your dental for next to nothing here.
Yeah, but dental.
That's
still,
crowns and all sorts of
but
things.
dental here is ridiculous. That's why people are in health fund for dental because it's a ridiculous price if you're not.
Yeah, that's right, Irene. My whole point of that video was that it's all right someone wanting to be recognised as something, whatever that is, but they have no right. Like if someone misgenders them, they're not guilty. It's their perception of the person. So I get annoyed with that sort of thing. It's like the reverse. I'll give you a good example. There are some women I've met in my life that are very masculine. And on some occasions, and Tucker gave an example the other day when he made a joke in a fast food restaurant that he said he'd rather not be with these 2 girls, but one was a guy. You see what I'm saying? So it works on all different levels. So, and I do not like the word transgender. Basically, you either want to be a man or a woman, and I don't think that word is appropriate. You want to be recognised as a woman, that's fine. But transitioning doesn't make any sense. You either are living a life as a man or you are living a life as a woman. I have no problem with that at all. I do have a problem with someone holding a card up saying I'm being discriminative to them because I called them Mr. And I would answer by saying, well, my perception is that you look very masculine. I didn't mean to upset you.
No, because that's right, we have met.
I need to heat up my soup and sausage roll. Yum.
I need to, wow, that's gourmet 5-star. Oh, take it
I
easy,
like a good
Blinky,
sausage roll, I really do. Have a good one, Blinky.
and have a good sleep, Blinky.
No, so perception is our right, opinion is our right. The person dictating that I should have known in the beginning has no right to tell me that. No, it is, but it's like you either, this is how my mind works, Irene, and that is you want to live your life as a woman or you want to live your life as a man, be it gay or lesbian, doesn't matter, or as they label themselves transgender, that's fine. I don't have to use that word. I would say, well, you're living a life of a woman. Great example is Nicole, very feminine looking, but she is not a born woman, but I'll treat her as a woman because that's my perception and her personality. So when it boils down to my point of view, no one has a right to dictate how I think. I would not in any way deliberately call someone a man if I knew they were a woman or living a life as a woman. That I would never do.
Sometimes you don't
But people
know.
misgender by mistake. Why the hell do they have to be accused of be discriminating when in fact they just made a mistake, thinking, well, you look like a man.
I don't know where we've already seen it on TV. It was we didn't realise until later it was an actual female, but we could have sworn it was a male. And
Yep, yep.
We just didn't know.
I used to work with a female prison officer who looked like a man, and she never once complained. So you know, people say, who's your mate with you? And I say, well, it's Linda, actually, her name. Oh, it's a woman.
Oh, yeah.
You met
Yeah, I
Linda,
met
didn't
her.
you? Lovely person, but very masculine. But she didn't give a damn about being misgendered. She said, well, I am what I am. I don't care. So I don't like people holding any sort of card up, be it political, gender, whatever. And the only time they usually do it is to attack someone. If I was transitioning into a woman, I would forgive people, because they do look like a bloke, by the way, even with a wig on. I would forgive people who misgendered me, because I'd say, well, yeah, I do look like a bloke, but I'm living the life as a woman. I would not take offence. And it is very strange, and this is a broad statement and not meant to offend anyone, but there are only a few people on YouTube who are now women that live a life as a woman that were men before, because most of them really do look like a bloke with a wig on. That's a broad statement, and it's not an attacking statement. It's just a matter of fact from my opinion.
Yeah, not the
Doesn't
ones,
make me bad.
not the ones
It's
we
just
know,
my
but
perspective.
other channels that have popped up that we don't know the people.
I knew a bloke once who lived as a woman, and he was very masculine. He was very tall, with knobbly knees and rugby arms, but he wanted to live a life as a woman. And he would always laugh when someone says, you know, that he's a man. He said, well, yeah, but I live my life as a woman. He explained what he was doing. And that's all good for me, do you know what I mean?
And Nicole is very sweet. She's got a cute face.
But it's not fair to misgender people deliberately. I'll back that statement up. But it's not fair to accuse someone of misgendering you when they did it out of their perspective or their opinions of what someone is. Because if you don't know, you're not guilty. Do you know what I mean? If you do know, you are guilty.
Yeah, Nicole is. And she's up there. She's straight to the point, honest, isn't she, Nicole?
Yep, but Irene is not a young puppy like me, and she would probably agree with my next statement. We never saw these people when I was a kid. They would have existed, for sure, but we never saw them. But the point is, our whole world is becoming androgynous. And I mean that sincerely. In 50 years' time, Irene, we won't be here. But if we were able to walk the streets in 50 years' time, we wouldn't be able to distinguish between man and woman, because the whole world is heading for that type of scenario. And is that a bad thing? I don't know, probably not. But it doesn't mean that you and I, if we were here in 50 years' time, should be accused of misgendering people based on how we grew up. I'll be honest, the word trans is not used in Australia generally. I'm sure there are people that would use it, but
Yeah,
generally it's a man living a life as a woman, or a woman living a life as a man. In other words, they pick a sex and say, that's what I am. There is no transitioning. They decided to live their life as a woman.
They are transitioning, but they don't sort of put that out there. They just say, I'm a woman, I'm living
It just
as a
makes
woman.
no logical
Yeah.
sense to me to use that word transitioning, because you choose to live a life as a woman or a man. That's it. And if you want to educate people that that is the case, that's fine. But you shouldn't dictate to them, and those who make mistakes you shouldn't argue with. You educate them.
yeah,
You educate them.
They've got to understand, like, it's different now. But, I've got to say that my dad, bless his soul, he's passed now. My dad didn't understand any of that. He never said a lot about it because he didn't know how to talk about it, like
Yeah.
seeing
Confused with the
a
subject matter.
transgender or even a lesbian or someone gay. He didn't understand it.
Yep. So I think we went down that road before with the chicken breast. The best way to roast a chicken breast is the whole chicken. But if you're going to do it individually, I'd probably wrap it in foil, add a bit of butter, garlic,
Yeah, keep it
seasoning, bit of smoky paprika, whatever you like, and put it in the oven at about, for you, 300, I guess, or 320.
What are you making, Sid?
But if you're doing the whole chicken, that's the best way to roast a breast, because it stays more moist. But you can do, if it's got no skin on, it might be a bit more difficult. Maybe best to shallow fry or cut up, I don't know, because chicken gets very dry if it's in without skin. chicken you can cook a million ways. You can poach it. If you really wanted tender, juicy chicken, you'd poach a chicken breast on very low heat for quite a long time.
Oh, curry chicken.
Curry chicken?
You don't have to roast it first.
No, I do curry chicken two ways. One, I'll get the chicken, chop it up, and I'll mix curry powder in with the chicken and let it macerate for half an hour to an hour. And then I would gently give it a quick fry, not on high heat, just cooking it through. And then I'd add everything else. And then at the end I'd put coconut cream in, because my wife likes coconut cream curry.
I love coconut cream.
Or you can make the curry base, get that going in the pan or pot, and you can add raw chicken.
Yeah, that's how a lot of them do it, isn't it?
That's how Asians do a lot of their curries. Takes no time to cook it. You've got a broth of curry base, whatever you like, whatever the curry flavour is you want, and the onions and the garlic and your chilli, all that in there. Coconut cream just gives it a smooth finish. And I literally put the coconut cream in at the last minute and do it two ways. Either the last minute, or I put it in with the rest of the curry ingredients, then add the raw chicken, or when I've used that other method of macerating the chicken and gently frying it, then adding the rest, I use the coconut milk cream, at the end. And as soon as I put it in, I stir it and turn the pot off. Yeah, you can cook chicken first if you want to. Like I say, the most moist you'll ever get is a pot, a shallow pot, so the chicken's covered, like a medium-sized pot. And you can add a bit of flavouring in the water if you like, or whatever you want. Even some carrot, celery, you know, the triage. No, I tend to roast the whole chicken.
No, but for chicken curry,
It could be. It could be. I don't know.
I don't know if you've got one on your channel, but
I don't know.
like you said, you usually cut the chicken up into cubes and put the curry mix.
Yeah, if you macerate it, when you macerate the chicken, it takes in that flavour. In
And
other
then
words,
fry
just
it.
sucks in all the flavour. And then you can give it a very gentle fry. I use a mixture of olive oil and just a dab of butter, because butter has a lower temperature to burn, but mixed with olive oil you get that nutty flavour through the chicken. Just move it around with a wooden spoon till it's cooked, and you know when it's cooked. You just get a knife and open it up. Yep, pick the biggest piece and it's cooked, so the rest's cooked. And then you can either add that to another pot that's got all the other stuff in it. I like chicken and vegetable curries. I like Thai curries. I like hot curries. My wife doesn't like hot curries. But usually, like the one I made the other day was a beef curry. If you're making a curry, you don't need to roast your chicken. You can do the raw process. I don't know what curry powder you use, if it's a mild curry powder or a hot one. But you simply get a bowl, chop your chicken up into little mouth-sized chunks. You can add a bit of garlic in there. You can add a little bit of whatever you like in there. I usually put a bit of smoky paprika and the curry powder. Some put cayenne pepper in there as well. Mix it all in with your hand, because it's all covered in. Push it down in the bowl, bit of plastic on top. Put it in the fridge for an hour. Beef curries, yum. It's a time process. Beef curries take quite a while to cook, unless you've got really tender meat.
And she's got a mild curry, but it's a
Mild
powder,
curry.
is it, Sids, or a
It
jar?
can be a jar as well. It doesn't have to be a powder, but I like powdered curries.
Yeah, so just let your chicken sit in that for a little while, then fry it gently, and then add it to another pot.
It's like when I shallow fry my honey sesame chicken. I make a batter up, and I dip the chicken in a little bit of flour, and then I'll dip it in, it's raw, I dip it into the batter, and then I shallow fry it. Just the heat alone coming from the shallow frying cooks the chicken completely through, within minutes. And then it's crunchy, golden, comes out, I put it in a big stainless steel bowl, pour some honey over the top, mix it around with a little bit of sesame seed. It is yum.
She's got curry powder.
Curry powder's good. You can do that with beef as well as chicken, anything really. But chicken's a good way to start to do curries, because you'll know when it's cooked, particularly if you pre-cook it before it goes in. Doing it the other way, when you've got the broth of curry going and you put raw chicken in there, it really soaks up the curry. because you're not sealing it in by shallow frying first, if you know what I mean. And I don't mind either method, but when I use the method of raw chicken going into a curry, it's already got the coconut milk, it's got all the curry, you've made a broth basically, a thick broth, and the chicken goes into it. And that's about a 25-30 minute process. Again, just pull a bit of chicken out, tear it apart, yep, it's cooked. And then I like curries, after I've cooked them, no matter which way I do it, I like curries, I'll just put the lid on, turn it off, and leave it for 40 minutes. Because then everything has time to combine together. You can make a curry and eat it straight away if you want to, but I like doing that method. And most of the time when I'm making a curry, I'm making up 3 or 4 extra containers to go in the freezer for later. So that it's in the toaster oven or oven, reheat on about 150 or about 280, 290, your temperature. And about 25-30 minutes later, you've got a nice hot meal. If you've got rice in a container that you're heating in an oven, you can't heat it quickly because it'll dry and go all glubby. So you've got to have a fairly low reheat, even as low as say 250 Fahrenheit. Just leave it for 20-25 minutes. It reheats without making the rice get destroyed. If you've ever reheated rice quickly in the oven, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's gluggy and powdery and not good.
Hopefully Nicole's phone calls to be with the doctor in a moment.
Yeah?
Anyway, in a minute.
Yep, we're going to knock it on the head, guys. Hopefully Nicole will start a hang-up up for you. You could start a hang-up, Sids. You're a professional now on hangouts, so you could start your own hangout. And if you start one now, we'll come and say good day before we go to bed.
I think Sid is cooking.
Well, no better time to put a hangout up. She shows what she's cooking. But to our friend, the RIC bully, thank you for standing up against that horrific suggestion of meeting a child sexual predator.
Yep, the point score
So,
has
well
moved
done.
a little bit. There's still some of his behaviour, but the point score has moved, yes.
Yep. So what are you good people? It's good night from the cute one.
Night.
And it's good night from me. All right?
Now there's some lag.
I like yous. Don't push it. See ya.